Friday. Welcome to another wonderful Good News Friday show with Adam versus the Man. 35 stories today. Too many to sort. We've got human optimization. We've got mass civil disobedience. It's kind of a special thing I wouldn't normally include in a Friday show, but Delta Airlines, this one's a little personal at this point. So we're going to get into that. We've got the fastest object ever built, a 240-pound fish in the United States, and an on-off switch to control inherited genetic problems. Yeah, welcome to the future. And it's funny because this week we saw lights in the sky. Like, oh my, like, wait, is that you? Oh no, is that UFOs? No, that's Elon Musk. Yeah, we covered that. And then last night, I suppose at some point Jim's got to play Patrick's video of his UFO footage. Pat's got UFO footage now. They went from UFOs to IFOs over the course of his video, unidentified flying objects to very, very identified flying objects. But yeah, there was a moment Joey and I were looking up at the sky the other night going, or was it last night? The second night.
It was the second night.
Yeah, so last night we were looking up the sky going, this is a thing now. They were more spread out. Is it they get launched and then they go higher and higher until you like barely see them?
Maybe.
We'll figure this out. We'll come back to this. But we've also got CJ and Cash Jackson join us from a quick update on their Elon Musk IFO sighting. And then I guess let's get to Jim for producer notes. It's Friday, bringing back the bong. It's do we have the button ready? We've also got D.I. Mary Jane in studio co-hosting today. You better be ready for this one, Jim.
I'm clicking as we go here. You got me off guard. I was gonna save it for when we brought her in.
It's a good Friday. A lot of good news. Oh, that's funny. See Snoop with his head like misaligned on the frame there. We still don't have this as a button that's just there all the time. It's going to be like, I don't know, how often are we going to play that video? Like, I don't know, every day? Maybe just every day. All right, Jim, hit us with the problem.
Every day?
As often as you.
The song gives us the instructions as to how often.
Smoke weed every day and play this song every day. The lyrics are kind of incomplete. They should say that, though.
Yeah, and play this song every day while smoking weed every day. So you can join us at t.me/Adam versus the Man. As he said, we got 35 links today. It's possibility we may not get to them all. It's a possibility we will get to them all. But either way, you can have fun by joining t.me/Adam versus the Man and becoming part of the public conversation. G.I. Mary Jane is going to announce a contest today, and when she does, somebody is going to participate, and if they win, they're going to win access into the private producers club, which is one level cooler than the public producers club or the public channel that we mentioned. If you don't want to worry about winning a contest, you just want to buy your way into access, you can go to the website that has everything, adamversustheman.com. Click on the Patreon link. We have $1, $5, $10, and $50 levels. $10 a month is the sweet spot that'll get you access to the private producers club as a better patron. Once you're a better patron and a member of that private producers club, you can shop at adamversustheman.com. You can get anything you want there at 15% off and free shipping. So that's a great deal. Definitely take advantage of that. Don't forget to click on sort by latest so you can see the newer items we're posting on the site and get your 15% off and free shipping for being a producers club member. Then click on Cigar Federation. You can shop that website for all your exotically flavored cigars, including a CBD infused cigar they have. And you can use promo code ADAM10 at that website to get 10% off of your entire order there. So it's a great deal. Check that out. Instagram, lots of new pictures and videos going up all the time in Gardenia. Check out the new puppies. This one is Thelma, I believe, just relaxing. Living the life up in Gardenia. You got Gardenian sunsets.
That's actually from the neighbor's place. We were walking around the neighbors with the dogs, and their ridge line has that really cool view with the trees on it. And those are all natural. None of those trees are even groomed up, bonsai like ours here. But
Oh wow, yeah,
who knows?
nice.
We might be buying that land too, hopefully.
There's the OGs, Baloo and Marilyn. Gotta love them. So anyways, you want some great pictures and videos, Instagram at the Garden of Freedom. Great content there. Get yourself connected. The Crypto 6, the Bitcoin church that was raided not too long ago. Those guys still need your help. These are the different QR codes for different cryptocurrencies you can use to donate to them while the cryptos are climbing. That will definitely help those guys out with getting legal advice and legal help and getting their situation taken care of, free from the state. Lastly, GoGreenEnergyOnline.com. Great website for anybody that's looking to get themselves self-sustained with solar power, micro wind power, zero energy homes. It's a do-it-yourself website. Great resource for all the information you'll need. Videos on zero energy homes. So definitely get yourself connected with GoGreenEnergyOnline.com and educate yourself on self-sustaining living. There you go.
All right. So before we get to GI Mary Jane here in studio, let's check in with CJ and Cash because they have another lights in the sky story.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, CJ.
Good morning, yeah. Well, Adam, so if you missed yesterday's Adam versus the Man, you might be a little stupid today and feel a little bit dumber. But we all have lessons to be learned.
Adam, let me begin by saying, number one, I am a veteran with no combat experience other than, maybe a brawl or two. But combat, I've not been in. This man has been in combat, okay? All right, fair. So if we were to say, have any sort of an enemy presence anywhere, it would be this man I would look to, for guidance. Right, I am older.
Terrible idea.
But I've not been blown up before.
That's a terrible idea.
I would look to this guy in that moment. And when I'm summoned by my mother running into the house, screaming, "Y'all come look! Y'all come look! Come outside!" And I'm like, what the shit's going on? Now, mind you, I had a certain mask attached to my face, and I was taking some breathing treatments, And so I was already in the moment of something and quite deep into it.
Talk about, you can talk about cannabis on Adam versus the Man. We are, we're not, we don't
I said breathing treatments. That's it. I mean, just, in case there was some attorney out there that wanted to use that against me in a custody case, which happens, that stuff happens, right? So I had some lavender herbs that I was, kind of working through. When my mother comes frantically yelling in the home to come outside and look into the night sky. And as I burst out near my pool area and I look up to the sky, and there's a stream of lights, like gigantic tracer rounds, one after another, woof, 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 woof through the sky.
Jim, you've got
and I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's happening. They're actually here. It's actually happening. I'm like, get the guns. Go to the National Guard. Warn everybody. It was pandemonium on Cash Jackson's farm last night, Adam Kokesh. And it was because I had not tuned in to Adam versus the Man.
Yeah. Life is better when you're paying attention to Adam versus the Man. No, but this is our generation's War of the Worlds moment, right? Remember the was it 1920 something radio broadcast where they thought that like it was a radio drama that if you didn't hear the introduction, you thought was actually a radio broadcast of an alien invasion. Are you looking this up, Joey? No, I gotta find this out. When was War of the Worlds? But this is much less dramatic.
Like the actual, wasn't that like an actual event that was the movie was based off of?
No,
the Battle of LA or something.
No. It was the radio. Okay, so there's the film, there's the 1897 novel, but there was
it aired on the radio and it freaked out.
The radio. When
Everybody.
did the radio thing happen?
We're not alone.
1953. No. Broadcast history. It's Orson Welles. War of the World. The 1938. That's it. Radio drama version. Yeah. Anyway, so Cash, how did you figure out that it wasn't alien?
Oh, geez. Yeah, on that one.
I think it was CJ's wife, Kendall. I think she was the first to tell us. Sorry to burst your bubble there, fellas. You can slow your roll and drop the guns because it's just
Well, we
SpaceX.
didn't know at first either. When Joey and I were watching this for the first time, we're like, could that be aliens? Both of us were just.
What
at
about
first
for all
like,
the people that didn't
I'll
know?
be
Look,
fair. I mean,
hold on.
But you know
Hold
what
on.
gave it away for me? That they weren't spaced out evenly. They weren't even in a perfect, like, aliens from another planet coming here. If they get all the way over here, they're going to know how to cover and align their shit. This was like
No,
I don't
know.
know.
It looked-
2021 shit.
Look, I don't know. Hey, maybe they were smoking weed because they were traveling west to east, and maybe it had worn off by the time they got from the west coast to here. Maybe their effects had worn off, and they were driving in a pretty straight fucking line. I'm here to tell you, across the sky. Like, boom,
If you're in the
boom, boom,
producers-
boom, boom.
If you're in the producers club, we got the video. I recorded about 3 minutes of what we saw, and breaking it into 3-minute parts. You can kind of see it from our
Yeah, but we should
perspective.
watch Pat's video instead. Jim,
Well,
do you have
hang on,
Pat's
but Pat,
video
but,
ready
but,
to
but
play?
Pat was, but when we listened to Pat's video, that was us. Like, holy shit, the aliens are here. And then you hear Adam in the background. We talked about this earlier.
No, I mean, we're in the cabin. Joey and me are in the cabin, and we hear Pat yelling from across the
it was
property.
jarring.
You guys, like he believed. You get to like, okay, so that's
It's
so now we know what Pat will sound like
when they're
when aliens actually show up. Like that's okay, good. We can test. Like, and there's not much more. Okay, so Jim's got the video ready. Roll tape on that.
Oh, for Pat?
What the fuck? Check these out. It's a whole line of fucking UFOs. Holy shit. Hey, look outside! Holy shit. Is my zoom in?
You wait till you get to Adam's part.
There you
You can hear it.
Oh shit. Trying to learn this zoom. Look at the sky! There's a whole line of them. There's like 50 of them. What the fuck?
That's the exact same shit we said.
That's funny. There were 60.
Look at the sky! Look up!
Wait for it.
Hey, come out here. Look up at the sky. Look at that shit. There's a shit ton of UFOs up there. Look, UFOs in the sky to your left. Oh, they're not in space.
Satellites. Oh, that's good, Jim. That's
They're
good.
satellites, but they're not in
Good. You
space.
can bring it back to us, Jim. Back up to the field. Holy cow. But yeah, that was. I think he captured a very genuine
Yeah.
feeling that
yeah.
a lot of us were
We got
experiencing.
the same thing, so he's not alone.
You're not alone,
You're
Pat.
not alone, Patrick.
Yeah, this is our generation's War of the Worlds moment.
Oh my God. Hey. Well, look, okay. Remember too, it wasn't that long ago that they released the DoD footage where Navy pilots interacted with UFOs. That was pretty recent. So if you got that piece, but you missed the whole, we're going to look, I heard he was going to launch a satellite, right? Like I was aware he was doing something. He was doing some Elon Musk shit. I didn't know we're doing like some War of the World shit. Like there's going to be like a fucking caravan of them, right? I wasn't expecting that. We've never seen that in our lifetime, Adam.
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
something
No,
like
this
that.
is like, hey,
Oh,
wait,
my word.
CJ, get on
If
your
you missed
Telegram
that,
and
you
get
missed
the
something
message to
awesome.
Joey. But hey, there was something else that was interesting last night where they were passing across the sky where you could tell they were catching sunlight or something,
Something.
like the angle at a
Are they
certain
going against
point
night?
from where we were standing, like they were catching the sunlight, and it was like they would
They were
they would
traveling and
pass
one would
through
get
this
bright.
point, it would blink bright and then back
Wow.
to dim, and it was
Wow.
really kind of like, is there a check? What is that? A checkpoint in the sky?
Wow, that's crazy. There's no
Your
telling.
ID.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff.
I
But
don't
anyways,
know.
we had to give the report. So
Hey, it was a good alien invasion drill. It was a great, analyze what you did right, what you did wrong, go back, lessons learned. Right, we've got a lot of weak areas we have to work on. So if they're going to do this again, hey, we're going to be prepared. Right.
all right, Adam.
All right, Cash and CJ, defenders of planet Earth against the alien invasion, should it come. All right, we're working on getting Joey access to the comments,
I
having to
can
jump
read
in at the
them.
last minute.
I just can't.
All right, so we're gonna get that. CJ's now available to help Joey on that, but until then, Joey, what is our comment contest for the
Well,
day?
ironically, today is National Space Day. Did you know that? And we saw the aliens.
National Space Day.
Today is National Space Day, the first Friday in May, according to Google. And we saw lights in the sky. What?
What is National Space
I
Day?
don't know. It's National Space Day.
Like Earth Day, like something we're supposed to do stuff. What are we supposed to do for space? Is it like, preserve space, like Space Conservatory Day, like go plant a galaxy, like Arbor Day, you plant a tree. When it's Space Day, go plant a universe. I don't think that's how it works. Like, what are we supposed to do?
It's kind of like Memorial Day for astronauts and dedicate the first Friday in May to the extraordinary achievements, benefits, and opportunities in the exploration and use of space. The goal of the observance is to promote math, science, technology, engineering, education to young people. It's for the kids to learn.
Who's behind this?
The government? Aren't they behind everything? Bringing me to the comment contest. I want to know how does Gardenia meet the visitors when they land? What's that one sentence that we officially say at Gardenia when the aliens land?
Yeah. So there's a good chance that if aliens are watching and they're looking at Earth and they're coming and they go say, we want to join, we want to make contact by acknowledging the most peaceful nation on Earth, the only successful micronation that is the embodiment of the non-aggression principle, the Garden of Freedom, or the great constitutional proprietarian republic of the kingdom of the Garden of Freedom in perpetuity. Titles, et cetera. Perhaps the aliens would come here first, right? So you want to know how would we? Because we know when it's the American government and the Israeli government going, well, of course they talk to us first because we're no.
Yeah, quick 1 to 2 sentences. What do we say?
Yeah.
No, take me to your leader.
All right. Well, jumping into the headlines today, we're going to start with something a little sort of unconventional for a Friday from CNN Politics. Alaska Airlines bans state lawmaker for her continued refusal to comply with a mask mandate. And it's like, hey, I did that a week ago. An Alaska state lawmaker who had called flight attendants mask bullies and clashed with airline employees on video over mask rules is now banned from Alaska Airlines for continued refusal to comply with the mask policy, the airline said in a statement. Well, I didn't actually do any of that. I really made the token effort to comply with the letter of the law and only had my mask off when I was seated and eating or drinking, and still managed to get banned from Delta Airlines. The restriction on Republican State Senator Laura Reinbold will make her job more difficult. Alaska Airlines operates the only regular flights between her home north of Anchorage and the state capital in Juneau. The ban meant Reinbold on Saturday had to drive more than 14 hours, including a portion of the trip through Canada, and take a ferry to reach Juneau on Monday, where a bill she opposes that would extend Governor Mike Dunleavy's emergency powers during the coronavirus pandemic is scheduled for action. As she said on Facebook, she has gone to new heights to serve Alaska. I am keenly aware of the monopoly in air transport to Juneau that needs reviewed. Nothing could get in the way to be in the capital to fight executive branch infringement on the legislature and defending your rights by trying to stop HB 76, which is on the Senate floor tomorrow, she wrote. So this is for her continued refusal to comply. And this is I'm torn on this, and I always want to go err on the side of respect for private property, right? Like when it's Delta, it's like, okay, you can set the rules in your own airline, whatever you want to do, whatever your customers feel that they need to be safe, to be comfortable flying. And I mean, but why is it that masks are the things that stay, but social distancing goes? Yeah, I mean, there's so many problems with this. I'm kind of done talking about. I mean, I'm over COVID, right? We've talked about it enough. I just thought it was a fun thing to start off our Good News Friday, aside from the lights in the sky and the Starlink War of the Worlds moment, to see that this is that there is someone, at least in government. There are these voices. There are people fighting back, and I'm not saying that like, oh yeah, this is the reason we have to look forward to humanity progressing, but at least there is some check on runaway government power, because there are people who raise a voice of opposition, and there might not even be that check if it wasn't for this whole spectrum of resistance of all of us working together, pulling against the institutionalized injustices of our day in government. But what is progressing humanity is the newest, fastest object ever built. CNET.com. NASA Solar Probe becomes fastest object ever built as it touches the sun. The Parker Solar Probe was clocked at over 330,000 miles per hour as it zipped through the sun's outer atmosphere. Nothing built by human hands has ever traveled faster than NASA's Parker Solar Probe, a diminutive, scorch-proof spacecraft about the size of a small car, is practically touching the sun. In late April, it smashed 2 wild space records, dethroning the previous champion, which also happened to be NASA's Parker Solar Probe, and its journey is really just beginning. The probe, which launched in August 2018 on a mission to study the sun, has been flying ever closer to our solar system's furnace, using the planet Venus as a slingshot. On April 29, during its closest approach to the sun, known as perihelion, Parker was traveling at an almost unfathomable speed, enough to circle the Earth 13 times in a single hour, and set 2 new records. Fastest human-made object at 244,255 miles per hour, but now the fastest human-made object, 330,000 miles per hour. Everything okay going, Joey, with comment access? What are CJ and like
I don't know.
Cash
Everybody's
just
like hitting the gong or something. There's some really great comments.
come
like,
on? Yeah, let's get these comments up here,
Craig
people.
said, "Hey,
What's
aliens, got any
happening?
weed?"
Can
Patrick
Jim
Lewis,
get you out? Why is CJ needed to get you access and Jim can't get you access?
I'm not sure. Neither one of them
What's
seem
going
to be
on?
seeing my messages. You guys
All right.
know.
Help. Ding, 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 ding,
What's
ding,
going
ding.
on?
Anybody home? We need comment
Uh-oh.
access. All right. Next story from the Daily Star. Humans could erase unhappy memories with groundbreaking new neurotechnology. The memory editing technique called decoded neurofeedback, or DECNEF, was created for the treatment of PTSD, but some critics say it could potentially be used to implant false memories. A radical new technique to target and erase painful memories has raised huge ethical problems, says a leading neurologist, because it threatens to artificially change a person's personality. The memory editing technique, which is called decoded neurofeedback or DECNEF, was created for the treatment of PTSD. It uses an electromagnet similar to an MRI scanner to measure various changes in the brain, such as the level of oxygen in the blood. The data gathered by the scanner is sent in real time to an artificially intelligent imagine learning agent that maps which areas of the brain are active when particular memories are stimulated. And this is actually really just a whole other angle of brain reprogramming. And I think that's really a better way to describe what humanity is doing right now. That we are on the verge of being able to, I mean, we've been doing this in a sense, this has been the whole human optimization of evolution, right? To optimize our brains to be able to, I don't know, as I think Kurzweil called it, we're just the biological bootstrap for AI that's then going to populate the cosmos and take over and make us irrelevant. But there's something inherent about the human will inherent in life that no device created external from that can replace without at least being a product or a manifestation of that will. Up next, livescience.com. World's first multi-node quantum network is a breakthrough for the quantum internet. The move to a 3-node system is a quantum leap in network design. This is some out there stuff. Scientists have gotten one step closer to a quantum internet by creating the world's first multi-node quantum network. Researchers at the QTech Research Center in the Netherlands created the system, which is made up of 3 quantum nodes entangled by the spooky laws of quantum mechanics that govern subatomic particles. It is the first time that more than 2 quantum bits or qubits that do the calculations in quantum computing have been linked together as nodes or network endpoints. Researchers expect the first quantum networks to unlock a wealth of computing applications that can't be performed by existing classical devices, such as faster computation and improved cryptography. Now, some of the things that this makes possible are just beyond the realm of what we can even think of right now in terms of like the application of this. Right now, with the technology that we have, we talked about Starlink download speeds the other day, that we've gone from being able to stream video where you can watch a video in real time to like, oh, you download a movie in 2 seconds, where you go, well, that becomes irrelevant. But remember, we showed last week that we are on the verge of practical holographic telecommunication, that you will be able to beam a 3D image of yourself across any digital connection, perhaps even over the airwaves, over radio frequency. And that kind of technology is going to be, with quantum computing, perhaps widely available, something that happens in an encrypted way where, I don't know, maybe with this we get pushed into matrix pods. Hey, we've got comments. First Domino, we should make a weed link.
Says Starlink.
That's just that. Well, I guess that's what they call it. But weed delivery drones, it's coming. It's coming. Don't worry. We have as every Friday we have drone
I have
stories.
seen a video of weed being delivered by drone to a gentleman wearing an unfortunate ankle bracelet that is circulated around. I'll have to find that.
All right, Daily Star. So wait, do we have any alien greeting comments yet? All right. Well, in case, yes, aliens land 6 feet. Myers?
I guess Myers is the alien's name, but 6 feet. We got COVID down here, aliens.
Myers is the alien's name?
The weird alien.
Is that a reference? That's Patrick commenting on YouTube. And Craig, hello aliens, got any space weed? No. Hey, oh, no. You gotta trick me. Did you guys bring the space weed that we ordered?
You're not a cop, are you?
You're not a cop, are you? You're not a space cop, are you? Daily Star, in case anything happens to us, we'll have convincing AI able to represent us towards the aliens. New wave of AI sex robots, hard to distinguish from living, breathing, orgasming humans. AI sex robots could soon be hard to distinguish. Yeah. Warns of social media friends being replaced by chatbots. That's kind of interesting because we've seen artificial intelligence writing news articles, right? Remember last week we read one that was an investing advice. Okay, Jim's going to put boobs on the screen. That was.
Are they boobs if they're
Are they
composite
boobs?
plastic? Like, is that? They're still boobs.
I mean, this
you
is.
can't milk them. Are they boobs?
Well, you know, fucker, you can milk anything with nipples. Cool. Wait, I got the line backwards, isn't it? Well, can you milk? I have nipples. Can you milk me, fucker?
Can you milk me?
Well, we are. So AI, it can write news stories now. And we're at that point where you can tell, like we could, even with today's technology, it's just a matter of programming and implementation to say, let's have have cameras everywhere and AI write the news. And at some point, humans are going to get bored with that, or we're going to somehow get like brains hooked up directly to this. Man, how fast is this coming? It's hard to say. But now, if you have your social media, right? If all the news stories first that are being shared by or are being written by AI or edited by AI or filtered or curated by AI, and then those chat bots, you know, maybe they become like, how many people do you know? Like, if you're active, Facebook is such a cesspool of bullshit. You know, how many fake profiles, how many, you know, Russian controlled pages and bots and CIA and blah, blah, you know, all the government troll farms. All the big governments are doing it. It's not like, oh, yeah, it's the Russians. Be afraid. No,
All the cool
you don't think the NSA has a troll farm? You don't think the Chi-Coms have troll farms? Of course they do. They all have the same incentives, you know, means, motive, and opportunity. Right. All right. So back. Yeah, I know you guys. Back to the sex robots. Right. AI sex robots could soon. All right. Well, the title of this article just repeats itself like 3 times. Professor Rob Brooks said the digital lovers will be among 3 types of artificial intimacy provided by machines this century. The academic wrote in the conversation, 21st century technologies such as robots, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence are creeping into every corner of our social and emotional lives, hacking how we form friendships, build intimacy, fall in love, and get off. At first mention of artificial intimacy, many people's minds may jump straight to sex robots, lifelike robotic sex dolls that could one day walk among us, hard to distinguish from living, breathing, orgasming humans. All right, I know we got comments on this. Outlaw Ninja, we're programmed from day one to be tools for the establishment. No, that's.
Even down.
Are you saying that you're a sex robot? We're all sex robots. We are wage slave sex robots designed to reproduce obedient wage slaves for the machine, right? Ooh, that's a scary way of putting it. But I think with the sex robots, I mean, Joe, you asked, like, are they, if they don't make milk, are they really boobs? Patrick again. Lorena Robotics. Robotit?
How would you say robot?
Robotit.
Robotit.
Robotit. Okay.
It's Terminator 4.
Well, I mean, okay, imagine for like female, okay, so like men as the sexual initiators of the species, right? Primarily, I know that's sexist and heteronormative and cisgender normative and all that, but generally, yes, men as the initiator of sex of the species and physically more active, right? The pitchers rather than the catchers, as they say in some communities. But men have never had a problem fucking inanimate objects. You know, like the fleshlight, the hand. You're having sex with a not person one way or another. An inflatable blow up doll. You know, isn't there like there's a stand-up bit where the line is, "I will give you life. You will give me love." I wish I could attribute that properly, right? But it's like you're basically trapping your own breath in order to have sex with it. Yeah, men, and whereas women can just flick the bean, and it's kind of like it's neater. It's less.
It's not that easy.
It's less animalistic.
You guys think it's that easy?
And, well, the thing is, I with men, it was trying to simulate the female role with a sex robot. there's a problem of like liveliness and responsiveness,
Sure,
right?
from either side. Like,
Well, no, because the other side, when it's a male robot, it's like, is it going to hurt you? You have
yeah.
I mean, a robot penis thrusting into
Well,
you, like,
they already have robot penises. They just don't look like humans yet.
well, the full mechanics of the male physical act of sex, trying to capture that. I mean, I'm sure programmers have already figured this out. Like, there's all sorts of safety mechanisms, devices, pressure trips. You know, you program the robot. It's, you know, you're never going to have more force on a body. I don't know. But at some point, I'm just, you know, like, how do people die in the future? Well, we're not in car accidents because you know, we all have self-flying cars, but maybe it's our sex robot accidents, pressure settings set on the wrong level, and, you know.
Yeah, interesting question posed.
1054. You just know sex bots that look like specific people are going to be requested at some point. That promises to be a weird ethics discussion.
Yeah, what if somebody like bought you? Like, somebody could just, like, some creepy stalker could just run into the store and buy your robot.
They'd be ordered, be custom ordered and discreet, right? But someone could then show off. Excuse me, like, that would be a really weird. I mean, I don't know. I'm not too concerned about like the creepiness and all this, because a big part of what this human ascension moment, the hockey stick bend that we're experiencing, is a sexual revolution, and not necessarily like the 60s of, hey, we got the pill, all right, party, but of sexual health and enlightenment. Of course, some of it, I think there was, and I don't know, this is my own little weird theory about the sexual revolution of the 60s, that it started and was sort of stifled and reined in by the establishment and suppressed. And there was a period of what felt like sexual liberation and loosening of mores, and people at least being able to talk more, and then a period of at least slowed growth or repression. You know, like it shot up, and maybe people got scared, or there was a pulling back, or the establishment stepped in, and now we're coming to like a slower, perhaps, rather than a sudden moment, but a more sustainable period of sexual enlightenment. I don't know how accurate that is, but somewhere along human history, and particularly American history, of, you know, the second half of the 20th century through today, there's some really interesting dynamics in how human sexuality has evolved in some pretty sharp turns. But hey, you go back, there's a precedent for all of this. Nicholas Canada, child sex robots would help with pedophiles. Yeah, I was about to mention that. This has come up before, not with people having it, because sex dolls of individuals exist already with porn stars. Like, that's who people want to have sex with. It's all like, yeah, hello, we've kind of gone through. But the child sex dolls and pedophiles, but that goes with child porn. Like, we haven't even figured that out. And that would be, I don't want to say the be all end all necessarily, but we are still so sexually repressed as a society that not only are we really grossly incapable of handling serious sexual threat issues with pedophilia or rape or abuse or incest, or all the worst kinds of sexual crimes, but we don't even understand them. Like, we haven't had the will. Really, that's what it comes down to, because we've had the means, motive, and opportunity, right? You know, we've had, since there's been modern science, since we've had the luxury of putting people in labs and studying people in controlled environments, we've had the means, we've had the motive. We're horny creatures, right? We've had the opportunity. This has been something we've been capable of understanding pedophilia and eliminating. We've been capable of understanding so many of these sexual abuse and threats and violence and all sorts of issues, at least for decades, if not even centuries. And the fact that we haven't is a product of our own lack of will, our own fear or apprehension about, you know, getting into issues about, or tough issues around sex. First domino, what if the bots start getting rapey? That DARPA dog looks rapey.
That DARPA dog is creepy.
Oh, yeah. I know, this is like, I don't know, like of all the things with AI, like, well, it might blow up the earth. It might turn us all into slaves. It might rape us. You mean like perfectly sexually engineered robots rape us? For most dudes, they're like, all right, sign me up for the Matrix pod where I get raped by robots for the rest of my life. Milked for my juices. Yes, okay. But yeah, just fun to check in. That's where sex bots are with the technology today. It's AI and robotics coming together. Whew. All right, Fox News. You know we got some alien stories today. Possible UFOs spotted off Florida coast. The dazzling video shows two orbs of light soaring airborne across the night sky. Can we roll on this one, Jim? It's a 5-minute video. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but the national.
I'm sorry. I got to do a producer note on this. This is Fox News, and that's probably why it's so ridiculous. But I spent the last few minutes going ahead trying to prep that video, and the video that's there is just a clip from Tucker Carlson talking about an old thing. There is no video on
the FoxNews.com video player. Then, if you want to watch, let's just scroll down for the picture, and you can see a very blurry, grainy, green and black picture of a light allegedly in the sky. Something. All right.
An unidentified thing.
Well, we like turning UFOs into IFOs here at Adam versus the Man. WWJ950 at MSN.com. 240-pound river monster caught in Detroit River. Now, this is not like the craziest understanding nature story. But scroll down, you can just see this photo that was shared on Facebook of the fisherman in like a black jumpsuit with the red sleeves. You see that? Not that. That's just some corny stock photo. But scroll down on the story there, Jim, and you've got the fish lying next to this dude. So once in a lifetime catch. There it is for our Detroit River native species crew last week. This real life river monster was tipping the scales at 240 pounds, measuring 6 feet 10 inches long, with a girth of nearly 4 feet. Caught in the Detroit River, this fish is one of the largest lake sturgeon ever recorded in the U.S. Based on girth and size, assumed to be a female, and over 100 years old. So she likely hatched in the Detroit River around 1920, when Detroit became the 4th largest city in America. Edit. By the way, she was quickly released back into the river after being processed. I kind of hope she was tagged.
Yeah.
Like,
you want to know?
Can we have a reality show based on like the river monster? Yeah, how long is she gonna live?
I need to know.
That's crazy. Can we like catch if she stops moving, she dies, we like grab her body for science?
Does she go back home make a trophy? To like her dad's there, her 200-year-old dad's there? We don't even know it.
Yeah, like they got her. Maybe they're cruising around the bottom of the river and just who knows. But yeah, this is nuts. And the reason I share this is like it's not even the biggest. It's not even the biggest.
The female, so the male's gonna be bigger.
Not necessarily. It's not true of all species. Is that true of most fish?
I don't know.
Fish vary so much. I know. I mean, you have seahorses they're not horses, by the way. We don't have amphibious, 4-legged mammals in the ocean.
Come on.
Come on, children. But no, so this sturgeon. The reason I share this story is not just like, whoa, damn, like right there, Detroit. Like, yeah, and it's a cool natural phenomenon and it's to be able to sort of date it, to estimate that a fish like this is 100 years old. And I know, like in the ocean and lakes, and there's all sorts of crazy. I've seen river monsters, and I know that there's more stuff out there. But when I appreciate this living out in the country here. One of the things I love about this part of the country in particular, Juniper Wood Ranch, is that it's a forest in development. We have these young juniper trees. And I enjoy the historical perspective here, knowing that a lot of these trees are about 100 years old. A lot of the sort of small, the medium trees, and they grow 350 to 700 years old. So this is a forest that is developing in biomass and biodiversity. Like Patrick yesterday saw a horny toad. Their lizards called horny toads. It pisses me off that they call them that.
Why are
Because
they
they
have sex robots at home.
yeah, but they're really cool lizards, and I've seen them on properties or like a few miles away from here, a little higher elevation. So it's like now they're on our property. By the way, we have frogs here too. When it gets really wet, they come out of the ground. I'm like,
Hey,
well,
frog.
hibernation in dry-ish dirt, and then they come out when it gets muddy. But I feel like I have this tendency, or like before I came out here, I had the tendency to take local wildlife for granted. Like everything, like zebras and tigers are exotic, but you know everything here is mundane. And it's like we just adopted 2 tiger striped puppies. Like that's part of it. And should we tell kitten stories? We found the one missing kitten, and now we have 2 other kittens missing. But yeah, Smokey is back, having been adopted by Mama Muffin with the other litter now. So very interesting.
Musical mama.
Yeah, the
There's
kittens
something.
get carried around, but
They might be in a custody battle with the state we don't know about.
we're just trying to keep the kittens safe
Seems a little bad.
until they're like really toddlers and eating wet food on their own and can at least, you know, get away from predators outside if they wander off. We got to protect them from birds out here. That's the thing. Will ravens eat kittens? We know the owls will. We do have owls out here, but you know what? You don't see owls around with human activity so closely.
You
hear them. Coyotes, by the way.
Beautiful.
See, I thought coyotes were getting chased out of the area by human activity, but this last couple weeks, we've been hearing them, and night before last, like really loud, beautiful chorus of coyotes. And the funny thing is, a lot of people out here have a pack of dogs, like we're amassing here in Gardenia. So you'll hear. No, that's not coyotes. That's dogs. But no, it was coyotes. Red-tailed hawks will feast. We do have red-tailed hawks out here, I believe. Is that the kind of hawk we have? I haven't really made a point of studying
I see
the
hawks,
birds of prey that are
definitely
around.
ravens, but
Beautiful ravens.
beautiful.
Definitely cool owls, and I've seen a couple of those. I think there's some barn owl types. I haven't looked exactly. But yeah, we also have some pretty serious birds of prey that look like red-tailed hawks. I can't say I've gotten. As of now, they remain UFOs. They may soon become IFOs, but for now, there are some birds that we don't know if they're real. Even they might all be government drones. But you know, we've had some finches. We've had these beautiful doves that are like gray, and they have like the black bands across, and a couple photos of those on the Gardenia Instagram. We have blue jays and a red-breasted something, like a red robin, maybe. I don't know. Yo, we should do some more bird identification and plant stuff. It's really amazing to be here for 5 years and like still not know so much. But every season, because this is a forest in development, there's something new that we notice. It's really beautiful. It's really fun to experience. So maybe this year it's horny toads. Over the summer, coming down to a slightly lower elevation, expanding their territory into our area, perhaps. Now to InceptiveMind.com. Been looking to cover this story for a few days. Came up earlier this week. Mayflower autonomous ship set to make its maiden voyage across the Atlantic. The world's first fully autonomous ship, Mayflower 400, is set to make its maiden voyage across the Atlantic this month. Delayed due to the pandemic, the launch was supposed to take place last year to celebrate the 400th anniversary of the navigation of the original Mayflower, the ship that brought settlers from England to North America. I'm actually kind of surprised it took us this long. I mean, I guess it's like there wasn't really a need, though. 1054 sport fishermen and animal rights activists could be brought together with fish rods. Hooray for science. It's like just catching a robot fish. It's kind of like having sex with a robot. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to do it for me in the long run. Might be fun, but we'll leave it at that for now. No, but with ships, like massive cargo container ships, they're practically piloted, right? I mean, the guys sit there and go, okay, go here to here, and I would think. Good. So Illinois 45-45. Good. Maybe this Mayflower can end the U.S. government. Yeah, I'm thinking like delayed due to pandemic. But did the crew of this crewless ship get COVID? How did wait? Well, I thought COVID was accelerating, unmanned adventures. First domino. What about sex with a robot fish?
Oh, first domino and I have been back and forth with the "Do you like fish sticks?" joke in the comments here off screen. Do you like fish sticks, Adam? No, not your thing. That's good. Good to know. Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
I like taking my COVID vitamins when I need to in the middle of a Fun Friday show.
Push the button.
All right. The Mayflower 400 will be guided by artificial intelligence rather than a human crew. It will depart from Plymouth, England, excuse me, on May 15. Wow, excuse me. And arrive at Plymouth, Massachusetts, about 3,000 miles, powered by solar energy. It was unveiled in 2017 as a partnership between IBM, the University of Plymouth Autonomous Craft Specialists, MSUBs, and the marine research nonprofit Promare. The 5-ton, 50-foot-long trimaran, which can make its own decisions and navigate in full autonomy, will also be able to study the environment by analyzing marine mammals and the presence of plastic in the ocean. With no captain or onboard crew, Mayflower 400 uses AI to traverse the ocean in its quest for data and discovery on whale populations, sea levels, microplastics in the ocean, and other research topics. It has a sophisticated system of cameras and radar to continue learning about its environment. Now, I should have had today's stories organized, but there were just way too many. But we have another one that's related to this, where I kind of want to, we'll come back to it. Well, here's one that's related. Part-time mermaids in China. I'm just teasing it. Let's get back and jump into the stack here. Radio.com at MSN.com. May the 4th be with you. Michigan reports 12 UFO sightings in 2021, coinciding with the legalization of recreational cannabis. Just kidding. I have no idea if that's even true. What's the state of cannabis in it? That's a bad joke. It's Star Wars Day, and Michiganders are feeling the force. Over the course of 2021, there have been 12 reported UFO sightings in Michigan, several of which occurred in the Metro Detroit area, according to the National UFO Reporting Center. What do they? Why don't we have is too bad USO is United Services Organization, because it should be unidentified swimming object, right? Like if you see
there is USO, unidentified submersible object. That's a thing. It's an actual thing.
Submersible, unidentified
submersible. Because the aliens live underwater. Some people think their bases are down there. That they're not coming from space, rather the depths of the ocean.
Or they've got like a Stargate to come into the Earth's core.
But the Earth's flat, so that doesn't make any sense.
And birds aren't real. But Venus is, and according to CNET.com, scientists use Venus as a disco ball to unravel mysteries of its spin. You didn't think scientists were having a party. It's not. These aren't like, Rick Sanchez scientists. Somebody call Gloria Gaynor for a planet that has a lot in common with us and just happens to be our closest neighbor. There really is an awful lot we don't know about Venus, and it's not for the lack of trying. Venus's conditions and speed have made nailing down specifics an incredibly long process. So to make it easier to analyze, scientists took inspiration from the dance floor. In a study published in Nature Astronomy on Thursday, a team out of UCLA used radar to nail down the exact length of a day on Venus, the size of its core, and its precise tilt angle. We use Venus as a giant disco ball, said Jean-Luc Margot, a UCLA professor who led the study. Between 2006 and 2020, the UCLA-led team aimed radio waves at Venus from the Goldstone antenna in California's Mojave Desert, acting like a flashlight. The waves bounced back off Venus's landscape like the reflections on a disco ball, allowing the team to track the reflections and calculate details about the planet's spin and tilt. Pretty cool. Yeah. It tips slightly to one side by 2.6392 degrees, slowly changing orientation over the course of 29,000 years. Comparatively, Earth tilts at 23 degrees and takes only 26,000 years to change its orientation, virtually a blink of an eye in astronomical timelines. On top of that, the results indicate that an average day on Venus lasts approximately 243.0226 Earth days. That's approximate. Not that, I mean, we could have gotten you like 10 more digits on this one because we are scientists after all. We are UCLA, but no, 243.0226 Earth days. And this is the fun. I mean, I don't know, do kids still read science fiction novels that get you to do these kinds of thought experiments that, like, if we were able to live on Venus, the sun would be like oriented for it would take almost a year for the sun to move across the sky, months in our time. Crazy. And how that would affect you. So many fun things to consider in space exploration. I mean, I went through a period as a kid of reading a bunch of science fiction. I think maybe I should pick up that habit again.
It's fun. I wonder how much of it has actually come to fruition at this point.
Reading old sci-fi for like, they thought that was going to happen.
You have to imagine a bunch of scientists were influenced by what they read as kids to create whatever technology we have now. Yeah.
I was inspired by all that science fiction to sit around and watch it happen and just make dumb jokes about it. Futurism.com. Scientists say new experiment will determine fate of the universe. Oh, and this is another Futurism blocked article, so that's all we're going to say about it. It's in the notes if you want to see it. Interestingengineering.com. Scientists say they discovered the gateway to consciousness in the brain. Often the things you don't know are things your brain has chosen to ignore. There's an old saying. The things you don't know are very often the things you have chosen not to know. As Donald Rumsfeld said, there are no knowns, unknown knowns, and known unknowns, and unknown unknowns. And I don't know where that $6 trillion went, so why don't you just stop asking questions? All right, and speaking from that was me. That wasn't the article. And speaking from the physical standpoint of the human brain, this might not be far from the facts. When we're awake, our brains receive an almost constant flux of information from sensory signals of constantly fluctuating intensities. For decades, scientists have wondered about the nature of the boundary between signals we detect consciously and the ones that fall below the horizon of conscious awareness, remaining in unconsciousness. And they may have just found that answer. Scientists say they've discovered a crucial area in the brain's cortex that plays gatekeeper to our conscious awareness, according to a recent study published in the journal Cell Reports. Yeah, and you think of it's when you say they only use 10% of your brain, like, no, but you think about how much of your brain is just doing shit that you like. You are not your brain. Like it's a weird thing for us to go from, well, you're not a physical being having a spiritual experience, or a spiritual being having a physical experience, and then you parse out what of that physical experience is the host of you or your consciousness. Is your consciousness all of this base level brain activity that you're not even aware of? Is that you? Is your consciousness floating around in there? Something that you can choose to manipulate with drugs, something that you can choose to manipulate with food and water and sleep and the environment that you're in, that all somehow coalesces in this thing that transcends that physicality that is human consciousness. And what a gift it is to acknowledge that we are this thing that is human consciousness. Information processing in the brain is two dimensions: sensory processing of the environment without awareness, and the type that occurs when a stimulus reaches a certain level of importance and enters conscious awareness, said a research investigator named Zirui Huang of the Center for Consciousness Science at Michigan Medicine in the Department of Anesthesiology, according to a report from Medical Express. Huang and the study's lead researcher, Anthony Hudetz et al., tried to verify the switch event in a portion of the brain known as the anterior insular cortex, which functions as a gate between low-level sensory information and higher-level awareness. Two unique ways in here when science begins to study non-physical phenomena will grow more in 10 years than it has in its entirety, or something Nikola Tesla said.
Or something.
Yeah. Is that a paraphrase of a Tesla quote? But no, we're here. It's this exponential, whether you want to differentiate, are they studying consciousness or awareness or non-physical things? It's this just overall acceleration that is the nature of technology and intelligent life itself. The study involved experiments on participants who were inserted into an fMRI machine and given the anesthetic drug propofol to modify their level of consciousness.
Isn't that what killed
All
Michael
right.
Jackson?
Uninsurable. I love Tesla. Once psychedelics are legal, things will change. People will see that we are more than a meat body. We are the universe. So under
I don't disbelieve that.
in fMRI machines, under the influence of propofol, the researchers then asked them to imagine themselves in a game of tennis, strolling down a path or clenching their hand, in addition to various forms of motor activity like squeezing a rubber ball, all while the participants fell into unconsciousness as the propofol took hold, and then again as they came to once the drug's effect ended. Earlier research revealed how mental imagery creates brain activity analogous to neural activity witnessed when humans are actually performing the described activity. When they imagine it happening, the region of the brain that causes motor control still lights up. Additionally, other areas of the brain are deactivated while performing these tasks to concentrate mental awareness on the necessary physical activity. While the study participants fell into unconsciousness, the deactivations were less frequent, and once they totally lost consciousness, the brain regions corresponding to the mental imagery tasks also showed no activity. I mean, there's more to this. This is a really fun thing to study, and if you go and read this article, look at this in the notes at t.me/Adam versus the man. There are a bunch of links to other studies as well related to this. Illinois 4545 or at Rob B. Are you in the Producers Club? I posted a new article with the new DARPA. It's focused on health. Is that in there just right now?
Yeah.
Just right now. JR out of Mud, Dayton Daily News. No, that's something else. There's another one. Oh, and Fina wanted to share with us that the Eta Aquarids meteor shower peak is coming. The area should have had this in the stack. Be looking at the night sky, not just for the lights in the sky of Starlink, but there are some meteor showers happening, I think, this weekend. We try to schedule them on weekends so we can promote them on Fridays. Dayton Daily News. It seems blatantly illegal. Southwest Ohio School District defies state rules, pulls back mask requirements. No. But watch the Eta Aquarids meteor shower peak in night skies from the New York Times. Haley's comment. Oh, no. See, this is for May 5th. The next shower might be able to see, sometimes known as Eta Aquarids, active April 19 to May 28. Oh, it's this whole time. Is expected to be at its peak from Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So we just missed the peak. So be looking out. What is that?
The article.
Oh, trifecta, DARPA, IARPA, and now HARPA to complete digital dictatorship. Technocrats are merging health security and national security to create the ultimate dictatorship. 3 technocrat-laced government agencies will operate in a lawless James Bond-esque fashion to sidestep all regulations. Yeah. A new proposal by the Biden administration to create a health-focused federal agency. I think we're going to come. This is bad news stuff, but it's not. You can ignore this for the weekend. You trust me. The security state that you experience will not be affected by not knowing this article. We'll come back to that one on Monday. Thank you for sharing, sir. But yeah, also pulling back mask requirements. Don't worry. I know you guys want to talk about COVID every day, but we don't talk about, we smoke weed every day. We talk about COVID Mondays and Wednesdays. Anyway, back to the consciousness article, the gateway to consciousness. I remember reading something like a long time ago. This is a terrible way to start a sentence, right? But you think about the nature of conscious life. At some point, every living organism needs to know, can I, like, there has to be a certain amount of sensory processing. And this is sort of like the nature, the core fundamental nature of consciousness itself. Every organism that does this, that has a consciousness, that is able to process thoughts, is asking some very basic questions. Can I eat this? Right? Can it eat me? Can I mate with this? Right? These are like the three basic questions of consciousness that even the most fundamental, single-celled organisms at some level have to be able to figure out. Any form of life that moves and reproduces sexually, or I guess asexually, there's a different consciousness about that. Who knows? But now we have a new way of understanding that level of conscious awareness through human consciousness. And now to goodnewsnetwork.org, the Manta sailing vessel is designed to feed on plastic waste for power while cleaning oceans. This is the story I was referring to earlier. A professional yacht racer, annoyed by the constant sightings of floating mats of plastic garbage in coastal waters, has designed an ocean cleaning sailboat that is powered by the waste it collects. I'm thinking, like, do you need the wind if you're if you're making power from that? But yeah, I guess just to control the sails and to navigate and all that. But this is something that we've talked about, different versions here, where there were barges that were going to go and float in the ocean and scoop up the plastic garbage islands and turn it into cryptocurrency, make Bitcoin. Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen with this? But this is the kind of stuff that gives me a lot of hope for being able to sort of engineer our way out of all of these problems, to be able to we're getting our guest Jay Nygaard coming on in the middle of the show here, or possibly Kaylor Nygaard. I have no idea what's going to happen with this today, but I'm sending him the link now. So yeah, like even with air pollution, and this is funny that it took 3D printing to come to this. Jim, I don't know, do you show some of the good graphics with the Manta here? There's a cool video with some of this. It's really like, it's a cool looking boat. Yeah, there we go. The Manta. Yeah, you want to run that with audio? Oh, now I'm frozen to myself.
You're not frozen here.
No, I just look dorky, like technical difficulties. There we go. Now he's got it up. Almost forgot to smash that like button. Is that what we tell the
Every
aliens?
minute, 17 tons of plastic waste are dumped into the oceans, totaling between 10 and 12 million tons of plastic waste each year. Welcome aboard the Manta, a giant of the seas, a unique solution designed to defend the ocean against plastic pollution and to provide a comprehensive answer through prevention and corrective action.
There is no sound in
Like
this
the
video,
manta
just so
ray,
you know.
which feeds by
I have
filtering
the sound
seawater,
on, it's
the
just
manta
not.
propels
There's no
itself by
sound in the
swallowing
video.
floating plastic waste as small as 10
I'm
millimeters, is then
Got it.
transformed into energy.
Is that
The
coming on
manta
the
is
broadcast?
capable of collecting up to
Oh,
3
I don't
tons
know
of
why
waste
I'm not
per
hearing
hour.
it. So, okay,
3
never mind.
trawls
Sorry,
trap
didn't mean to
plastics
interrupt.
to a depth of 1 meter, mainly in coastal waters. The Mobulars, 2 multi-service boats on board, will collect waste in shallow or narrow areas. Versatile, they collect micro waste, macro waste, and hydrocarbons in rough coastal waters and rivers with strong currents, and also in calm and protected waters. Each Mobular can collect and store up to 10 cubic meters of waste. The macro waste floating on the surface of the water is drawn into the manta by collection carousels located between the hulls. The waste then travels to the onboard waste management plant, located at the heart of the vessel, to be transformed. The waste is first sent to a sorting unit where operators separate it manually according to its nature. Metal, glass, and aluminium wastes are stored to be brought back to land to be recycled through local waste management streams. Organic materials are returned to the water. The plastic waste is shredded and transformed into pellets before being sent to the waste-to-energy conversion unit. The real masterpiece of the onboard plant is the waste-to-energy conversion unit that melts the plastic pellets at high temperature through pyrolysis and transforms them into synthetic gas. The syngas then passes through a turbine which produces electricity. That electricity in turn will power all of the Manta's equipment. Its onboard plant, cockpit, batteries, and propulsion units. During the conversion process, heat emissions and waste gases are recovered, supporting the Manta's principles for an eco-friendly solution. The Manta is capable of collecting 5 to 10,000 metric tons per year and processing 100% of the waste collected on board. The Manta is powered by renewable energy sources, equipped with hybrid propulsion and automatic rigs. It is an ambassador of clean navigation technologies with a minimal environmental footprint, targeting an average of 75% energy autonomy. Additionally, the Manta is a state-of-the-art science lab on plastic pollution. Scientific missions will be hosted on board, and awareness and prevention platforms will be open to the general public during the boat's stopover. Combining high technology and eco-consciousness, the Manta will travel to the world's major estuaries and river mouths where floating plastic waste is known to be concentrated. It is urgent to take action now. The Manta will make it possible.
Is that what you want your sex robot to sound like, Craig? Is that what we're getting at? Joey shared an article as well here in the Producers Club Hometown Pride, where googly eye trash eaters may clean a harbor near you. Baltimore success with Mr. Trash Wheel and Professor Trash Wheel may spread to other cities.
They're old. They came out like 2015, I think. Like all of Baltimore knows about Mr. Trash. He's fun.
Oh, that's the googly eyed
There he is.
Mr. Trash.
He
Was
floats
supposed to
around
look
the
like a
harbor.
shrimp or something.
I don't know.
Or-
Everything's better with googly eyes.
Just put googly eyes on every machine.
Mr. Trash. Yeah.
Friendly robots everywhere. Well, as I was saying, the innovating our way out of all of these environmental challenges and pollution problems. I mean, it's not even far-fetched with today's technology to see that we're applying this when it comes to ocean trash. But what I remember covering this back in 2013, I think, with the first 3-hour studio version of Adam versus the Man, where we were playing with 3D printing when 3D printing was kind of first a thing, and we were using filaments, right? You have a filament of plastic that is melted and shot through the needle in the 3D printer to create the object. And we were talking about being able to take just plastic bottles from the kitchen or from garbage recycling. That's one of the reasons I have a giant stash of plastic trash here, is that someday
One day
we're going to be able to just process all that into filament for 3D printers. And at some point, we're going to be able to suck all of that out of the sky, like all of the pollution in the sky. I mean, I know this sounds kind of far-fetched, and maybe it's not ever going to be practical. But in cities where there's smog, what is that smog? That stuff that's a material that can be condensed and used. What was that, Rob B? It looks like 2 water wheels attached to a Muppet. All right, and with that, speaking of giving us hope for the future, we have our Friday special guest, Jay Nygaard, replaced backstage by his son, Kaylor Nygaard, today, who was here, part of the wind turbine installation crew, going to be running for, I believe, chair of the Libertarian Party of Minnesota. Is that
Very
right?
cool.
Kaylor. Let's get Kaylor up on screen here. Welcome to the show. Happy Friday. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great, man.
Good to see you.
Day. I'm happy it's spring out. You know, it's really looking up and up. So good Friday, huh?
Yeah, well, because there you're like spring to summer is from intolerably cold. Oh, we can go outside now.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and you can tell it in the people too that they're starting to warm up, you know, so that's really awesome. There on good news too, I was looking on the internet and there's Oxford Brook University and they use their supercomputer to do a study on vertical axis wind turbines. And they found that when you put them together, they kind of work like a school of fish, and then they're 15% more efficient. So that just came out like you know, less than a week ago. So you know, we don't have access to supercomputer technology, but that was pretty awesome to see. And you know, people are now questioning whether, you know, the vertical axis wind turbines are actually the future wind turbines. And the big ones, you know,
is this like a wake effect? Like there's a wind wake and they take advantage of that and
yeah, that's the idea. And yeah, if you stack them correctly, you know, they'll play off each other. Where I guess with the big ones, they create too much turbulence or something to play off each other. So
okay, so yeah, I wanted
you know,
I wanted to talk. Yeah, I should have warned you about this, but I don't know if you want to jump into this cover or if you got as much expertise on this as Jay. But I wanted to hit you with some hard questions because we saw this in the Wall Street Journal today. Rural America gets bad vibrations from big wind turbines are popular as long as no one has to see their giant blades or hear the awful noise they make. And maybe the answer to this is simple. Because I saw those big the big spinning wheels, the big tri blades, and you go, there's no way that's the most mechanically effective way to capture wind at scale.
yeah, I mean, it made sense for a while, you know, like when we didn't have the technology figured out on the vertical axis wind turbines, that was the best at the time, you know, but things get better. The problem with the big ones is you can't recycle them for the most part. You know, they're made out of fiberglass. And then,
Wait, you know those giant white blades? Those are fiberglass.
He does know more than me.
There's Jay.
I'm here to pitch in. So there are several things other than the bird kills because you got the outside of the blades going so fast and birds look down, not up. There's a lot of low frequency vibrations. Oh no, that come off of it.
It just died again.
Uh-oh, we got a connection issue. I'm frozen. What's going on, Jim?
They got disconnected. Also, I was telling you in the producers club, you're getting bad feedback. When he comes back on, if you could ask him to click his echo cancellation in the settings, because when you talk, he's getting a real loud echo on his part, and it's causing an audio problem. It's not very good to listen to. He's back now, so
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It just died there for a second. The app.
Sir, if you could do me a favor before we get started and go into your camera and microphone settings and click the echo cancellation button.
Okay.
It was clicked. You just turned it off.
You want it off then?
Now leave it there. That's much better. Oh wait, no, we're still getting an echo. You don't have headphones, do you?
Yeah, I do have headphones.
That quick, that would probably help.
Yeah. I was told by my dad that I didn't need headphones, so let's see here.
Maybe it's the way he's got his phone set. But it looks like your connection's not great either. Is that just me or TV?
Says we have 5G.
There's your problem right there.
It's the 5G. All right. Well, we'll see. I'm hearing like crazy echo on that. If you want to see if you figure that out and come back to this, we'll come back to the wind turbine story. So going back to the top of the big pile of news. Holy crap, where are we? We still have so many stories to cover. So yeah, we covered the Manta sailing vessel, very exciting. And now back to outer space. Reuters Science Blue Origin to begin space tourism ticket sales Wednesday. Blue Origin billionaire Jeff Bezos' rocket company is poised to open up ticket sales on Wednesday for for suborbital sightseeing trips on its new Shepard spacecraft, a landmark moment as U.S. firms strive toward a new era of private commercial space travel. Blue Origin is expected to announce details on how to purchase a seat, the timing of the first flight, and the cost for a ticket, which has been a carefully guarded secret inside Blue for years. Reuters reported in 2018 that Blue was planning to charge passengers at least $200,000 for the ride based on an appraisal of rival plans from billionaire Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic Holdings, Inc., and other considerations, though its thinking may have changed. Blue Origin teased last week that it would soon begin selling tickets following years of testing and development work that has included delays. Blue's new Shepard rocket and capsule combo is designed to autonomously fly 6 passengers more than 62 miles, that's 100 kilometers, above Earth into suborbital space, high enough to experience a few minutes of weightlessness and see the curvature of the planet before the pressurized capsule returns to Earth under parachutes. The capsule features 6 observation windows. Blue Origin says are nearly 3 times as tall as those on a Boeing 747 jetliner. So while, yeah, this has been teased for a while, right? Where we had some suborbital flights. We had astronauts going up into zero gravity. They took Stephen Hawking up in a wheelchair and showed him floating in zero gravity. And now we're at like actual, just pushing it a little bit by bit. While celebrities and the uber rich appear to be a core market for space tourist jaunts, at least initially, industry sources expect Blue to include some philanthropic component to its ticket strategy. A college science professor and an aerospace data analyst are among a 4-member crew for a launch into orbit planned later this year by Elon Musk's SpaceX, part of a charity drive. SpaceX. Part of a charity drive build is the first all-civilian space flight in history. Up next, yes?
It's amazing. I'm thinking of my great-grandmother who passed away years ago, but she never had a license. It was unnecessary to drive because cars were just such a new thing at the turn of the century there in the 1900s, right? And now this, like, I can't even imagine this generation that's, in their 90s. Stephen Hawking got to be in zero G.
Hey,
we've well surpassed the Jetsons.
You'll be 92 someday.
Will I?
Yeah. And then you'll be looking back, going back in my day, we didn't even need licenses to fly rockets.
These regulations,
yeah,
space cops.
It's the empire. The empire is striking back. All right, goodnewsnetwork.org. Atheists respond to National Day of Prayer this week with action to feed the hungry and clean up litter. We heard that the annual National Day of Prayer has also spurred atheists to action, and they're using the occasion to do good works in their community. The atheist community of Polk County, Florida, for instance, is organizing a number of community service events and an awareness campaign to suggest that fellowship doesn't require faith. It's all part of an annual effort to celebrate a national secular week of action instead of observing the National Day of Prayer, which was set aside in U.S. federal law for people of faith to pray for the nation on the first Thursday in May, the way that God intended us to. In place of observing a day of thoughts and prayer, secular groups nationwide organize service projects. This year's emphasis is on a compassionate response to hunger and homelessness, which were exacerbated due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Very cool. NPR.org. Trees talk to each other. Mother tree ecologist hears lessons for people too. Trees are social creatures that communicate with each other in cooperative ways that hold lessons for human too, ecologist Suzanne Simard says. Simard grew up in Canadian forests as a descendant of loggers before becoming a forestry ecologist. She's now a professor of forest ecology at the University of British Columbia. Trees are linked to neighboring trees by an underground network of fungi that resembles the neural networks in the brain. In one study, Simard watched as a Douglas fir that had been injured by insects appeared to send chemical warning signals to a ponderosa pine growing nearby. The pine tree then produced defense enzymes to protect against the insect. This was a breakthrough. The trees were sharing information that actually is important to the health of the whole forest. In addition to warning each other of danger, Simard says that trees have been known to share nutrients at critical times to keep each other healthy. She says the trees in a forest are often linked to each other via an older tree she calls a mother or hub tree. Quote, in connecting with all the trees at different ages, the mother trees can actually facilitate the growth of these understory seedlings. The seedlings will link into the network of old trees and benefit from that huge uptake resource capacity. And the old trees would also pass a little bit of carbon and nutrients and water to the little seedlings at crucial times in their lives that actually help them survive. And I think about, you know, I don't want to condemn government unfairly, although that's really hard. With Nicholas Canada, this isn't even new science. Yeah, in a sense, but this is just taken to the next level, I suppose, looking at this. Too unique. Shout it if you knew this without science having to tell you.
I had there. I might have had this, you know, psychedelic experience where I was chit chatting, and I came up with
the trees,
with the, you know, with the idea that money, being made of trees, right, holds energy, and how I was grateful for the digital currency age because you don't have to transfer that energy with people, right? So imagine somebody with really bad energy as a human, really nasty, egotistical, gross, a senator, okay, touches this money, right? And then you get it, like, just I had this
or a banker,
this realization.
Bankers touch money, right?
When you touch that money, those green cotton paper rectangles, that there's energy in there. And see, the LSD was right.
No, I mean, I think more to the trees directly about, you know, if you looked at trees and you looked at forests and you just as a caveman, even you go, well, of course, there's like, I have my babies and we care for our babies. Trees have their babies. And since we know they have roots and they know they're all connected, of course, why wouldn't they be, you know, older trees helping out younger trees? And you go, well, now we can prove it. And we see the mechanisms of that in science. So cool stuff. Yeah. And this is from NPR. So it's actually a 35-minute listen. If you want to get further into that, in the notes at t.me/Adam versus the man. Just, what was that comment?
Currency is not paper. What is it? Is it cotton? It's definitely made of an organic material.
Currency, AK money, is not paper. Well, it's not paper like normal paper, but it's cotton fiber. It's plant matter for most. It's a combination. I mean, it's been paper. Trees support crypto. Yeah, damn right they do. Speaking of which, we got two interesting stories up next here. Good News Network. New smart farming robot unveiled that smokes weeds with high-powered lasers for healthy weeding. And there's so many ways to misconstrue this title. New smart farming robot unveiled that smokes weed, high-powered lasers for healthy weeding. You think, or is this a new way of doing dabs with high-powered? And I'm like, yeah. You think about it, why not? You know, they have those lasers that get so hot that they can like burn paper. Why not use that for vaping? You could high-power laser. It's a nice way to do dabs, right? No, but this is just a really cool innovation in agriculture, and we've seen different versions of this. It seems like every week there's some new way, and it's going to be more environmentally friendly. We dedicate a piece of the Earth's surface to maximizing the nutrients that we can pull out of it for human consumption. It's going to be with robots like this. Certified organic. See, yeah, but you can definitely weaponize that. We can weaponize laser weed smoking. So weeds compete for soil, nutrients, water, space, and sunlight with the crops farmers grow to help feed people. Now, a third-generation weeding robot armed with lasers and powered by AI offers the ultimate labor-saving device while also eliminating the need for chemical herbicides. Now, maybe so this is a generational leap that we're going through right now in agriculture. And it's going to accelerate. The leaps are going to come closer and closer together. with every generational shift, with every advancement. Who knows? Then maybe the next thing is food forests, and we just have wild food forests, and we send in drones to snip out the little bits of plants that we want to consume, and we get to not even have this part of the planet's biodiversity challenged by monoculture agriculture, right? So the next one, I think someone at Good News Network is smoking some of those laser weeds because they have a joint venture, and it's not what you think. Joint venture with Love's Truck Stops will produce 80 million gallons of renewable biodiesel made from 100% waste. And I think like joint venture to smoke weeds with lasers. All right, now you're speaking my language, Good News Network. A giant agricultural company's years of work on renewable, sustainable diesel fuel is finally coming to fruition, and it's made from 100% waste products. A 50-50 joint venture between Cargill and Love's Travel Stops will produce and market a green fuel under the name Hartwell Renewables. Its new production plant, now under construction in Hastings, Nebraska, will have the ability to produce approximately 80 million gallons of renewable diesel fuel annually while creating 50 new jobs there. Cargill will provide feedstock in the form of tallow, the animal fat discarded during its beef processing, and also used cooking oil. Once the diesel is produced, the Love's family of companies, which owns and operates truck stops in 41 states, will transport and market the product in the U.S. So, I mean, there's just, it's like an explosion of options in alternative energy. And who knows where this is going. Because any one of these is going to be just leaps and bounds better than whatever it is we're doing today that is obviously not sustainable. Okay, so speaking of sustainable, our guest is back. We're going to talk to the Nygaards now. Jay and Kaylor joining us again backstage. Are you guys ready? We're going to get back to this.
I got it figured out.
All right, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, Kaylor, how you doing now? What's so where were we? Where we were talking
we were talking about the big wind turbines and how they were, affecting health and that kind of thing. And what my dad was saying is that they create like really low vibrations that get transmitted through the ground. And because they're so large, like those vibrations are really strong. And that's what he was saying, like might be causing the health effects. And then also the shadow flicker from them, like they are really huge blades. So if you're right next to one and you're, the sun's coming through, it can kind of mess with you, kind of like seizures from
flicker.
And I know Germany has a law on like how much shadow flicker can happen or something like that. So
you that kind of stuff. Somewhat a seizure if you have a blade going in front of the sun like this and the shadow is coming like into their window like that. It's a weird form of torture, psychological torture on someone. But it seems that all of this, I mean, we talked, your dad and I think 2 weeks ago about tidal power, ocean water power and turbines, but that mechanism can be a lot safer, and that these idea of fans compared to the vertical turbines, as you mentioned, when they're arranged in sequence, in series, right, in the wind, that they get even more efficient.
Yeah, that was from Oxford Brookes University in England. And that was done with a supercomputer. As they ran all the math calculations and whatnot and compared the two, and they found, about a 15% benefit. I don't know exactly what that means. I have to really dive more into the study and get my hands on it, and hopefully get a hold of the professor who did it. That would be the most awesome. Get him talking with my dad, and really hammering stuff out. Because I have a feeling that they didn't use the high watt wind turbines. From looking at like the pictures that were shown and whatnot. So I want to see what turbine they used and like really what the math was behind it to get at that number of 15% benefit.
It seems that there's also an unnecessary placement near residential areas. Like, why even do that? Can't you have wind farms and long cables I would imagine that you wouldn't have wind, like except for what we're doing, where we have a wind turbine on a house as like the house being an independent off-grid unit, that aside from that, if you were doing massive wind project, you would have wind farms that would be, I don't know, how is there a practical limit to like loss of power over distance if you have giant cables to transmit that power? Because I would have imagined that, like, if you were trying to wind power LA, you wouldn't put turbines all around, the city. You would put them, in a valley where wind is channeled, where there isn't any residents, there isn't any significant wildlife threat. It would be out of the way, and you would just pipe that power back in, no?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that there is power loss, and I think it's, like 50, 100, 200, 500 miles that they talk about that. And I do know that like when the farther away you are from the power source, the dirtier the energy comes, so it doesn't maintain its frequency as well. So like we actually noticed that when we switch from from just using the grid energy to solar, our garage door actually ran smoother. The washing machine ran smoother. So like actually your appliances will run better because the frequency, is steady the whole way and clean. So, that's something that really isn't taken into account. And really like the biggest user of energy is really like these big industrial plants and whatnot. And yeah, we can definitely feed them from far away. And I know that they're talking about building big transmission lines from Wyoming out to California to try and feed them that way and use all that wind energy out there. So
Kaylor, we had a question earlier about like, because people who saw our installation here, it's G Me on Facebook. Encasing the wind turbine in concrete doesn't reduce the vibrations.
I guess it would. But the big ones, they have so much energy that they're producing, we're talking megawatts. And so, there are vibrations coming off that. And as far as I know, they don't have the isolation dampeners that the vertical axis wind turbines do. So, I think that's part of it. And it's so large and not having that dampener, I think it's still going to somewhat spread out through there. And that's kind of what the concern is from what I've heard. So,
First Domino weighs in here. This is an interesting topic. I wonder what kind of geometry they're using when placing these things beside each other to make them more efficient, what pattern. And I think what Kaylor pointed out is that they're just starting to understand and study with the more efficient vertical turbines as opposed to the blade ones. I've seen those. You drive the 40 from here into LA and you pass there's a stretch where there's a big cluster of them kind of in a valley where it looks like the wind would be channeled, but they seem just kind of randomly laid out sometimes in a line, sometimes on a ridge, sometimes in a valley. But it sounds like a lot of this is just sort of over-eager, green leftist, shitty urban planning where they're like, and probably some unscrupulous, developer going, yeah, I can put in a wind farm for you and make you look really good politically. And then it's old technology. It's the big fan that's not done with proper distance or layout. And it's really just kind of sad that we are experiencing this technological leap or these leaps and possibilities while under a government system that leads to such misallocations. Nicholas, Canada, keep turbines far away from residential areas. Yeah, unless you have like the small one that's just for your property, just there. And even like, we don't have a problem with noise. But Kaylor, before we let you go, did you want to talk about your party run for state chair?
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's been a little bit of drama with that. So what happened is we have a conference and a convention at a hotel, and it's been restricted due to COVID. And, personally, I think that we should have been using that as an opportunity to protest the COVID restrictions, say, hey, we're libertarians, let's either go to South Dakota, Wisconsin, Iowa, something like that, and kind of have like a rebel thing saying, we have to even go out of our state to have freedom. What's wrong with our state? Or we go to a family farm or something and go beyond the limits and, you know, do it that way. And what ended up happening is people who wanted to go to the convention and vote aren't able to, because there's no online, there's no booth, there's no way for them to vote. So it's capped at a certain amount. And, you know, that's actually in violation of the bylaws. And somebody pointed that out in the Mises caucus. And then like the people who currently control the state, you know, like Chris Holbrook and his friends, you know, I don't have anything against Chris. You know, I'm not going to say that. I just think I have something different that I bring to the table. And, you know, when that was pointed out, people just kind of went into the meltdown thinking that we're there to like destroy the convention and cost the party a bunch of money. And that's not what it was about. It was just about, you know, everybody getting the chance to vote. And I found it kind of funny because they were being sticklers for a 45-day rule that you have to be a part of the party for 45 days before you could run for office in the party or vote. And, you know, I found it funny that they were being sticklers on one part of the rules and then they don't want to on another, you know, that kind of benefits them. And, you know, me as a libertarian, I'm not a huge rule stickler. I understand why we have rules, and, you know, I'm not worried about some, you know, alt-right or far left right now coming in and taking over the party. That's really what that 45-day rule is for. And, you know, all the people who want to vote have been long-term libertarians. For example, my good friend Mark, he was my dad's campaign manager in 2016. He just went through brain surgery, so he had zero ability to sign up for this convention. And then after he got out of surgery, he saw all the tickets were gone, you know, and he would have been one of my greatest supporters there at the convention. So, you know, there is some disenfranchisement, you know, has been kind of what the talk has been about, you know, and how do we deal with this in an amenable manner for everybody?
Yeah, no. So I think, you know, when I first heard about this, I was skeptical because you are light on experience within the party. And there are a lot of good, you know, young, ambitious Libertarian Party activists who go, yeah, I don't like what the chair's doing. I could do a better job. Let's put it to a vote. And that's awesome that you have that, you know, that wherewithal to jump in and raise the issue. And I think, you know, Chris Holbrook has got some pretty serious time in and, you know, been a fair steward of the party. And I like your attitude. And I think it's really important that you come in with that, you know, hey, with all due respect, I would like to raise this issue. We're going to use the chair's race as the venue, and I am offering myself as a serious alternative if the party wants to take on this different strategic direction. And I think that unique to the Libertarian Party, we have really wonderful examples of inter-party fighting. We all wring our hands so much about it. Like, oh, you disagree? I have to decide which one of you is going to be better as a chair. What if you say bad things about the other libertarian? You know, and it's like, you know, Reagan's got that. What is that first rule of Republic? Thou shalt not speak ill of other Republicans. And it's that bullshit tribalism. You look at the Democrats, the Republicans, the infighting, the factionalism, the corruption. They have no holds barred, even in inter-party shit or intra-party, and it's we are way too self-conscious about this in the LP. I'm actually really encouraged to see someone like you jumping in, you know, with that healthy attitude and encouraging that within the LP. It makes the party better and stronger. So. We might come back to this. Maybe we'll have Chris on. Certainly, we would have to say, in the interest of journalistic fairness now, we would give Chris a chance to respond. But, Kaylor, I do say I do think I am with you on the issue here of the attitude towards COVID. And it's not that you have to condemn any particular strategy. Could be right for the party in one state and wrong for the party in another state. And I just attended a wonderful convention in Wisconsin. Congratulations to the new chair, Tony Moen, and all the new officers in the state of Wisconsin who are going to be great stewards of the party there. And they went to a hotel in Eau Claire where they had pretty serious restrictions. but the hotel agreed to say, you know what, in your space that you're renting, we're not going to be we're not going to be harsh about it. And so they were able to strike a really a successful balance for their convention. So Kaylor, any final thoughts on the race or anything you want to share?
No, not really. I mean, I just want to view it, like there has been that takeover language that's been coming from the Mises caucus. And some people kind of view that as like an aggressive, like we're an army coming to take over. And I more view it as like we're driving an RV across the country. And, Chris Holbrook, he's been at it for 10 hours. And it's like, hey, dude, I'm here to offer to take over for you. Like I will take over. I'll start driving, and like, hey, if I start swerving and stuff, tap me on the shoulder and I'll bounce out of there. But, I'm the reinforcements. We're all on the same RV. We're all on the Liberty bus. And, that's really what brings us together. So, competition breeds excellence. So I'm really looking towards Saturday.
Very appropriately dorky analogy for the LP. Well done, sir. All right. Thanks for joining us, Kaylor. Appreciate it.
Yep. See ya.
All right. 15 minutes left in the show, and we still have at least 15 headlines here. So without further ado, daily news. By the way, keep your I don't think we have any good alien greetings yet to win our comment contest for the day. Couple? All right, couple contenders maybe.
But they're both Producers Club members already. I mean, I know our Producers Club is awesome, but nobody's stepping up to try to beat them.
How do we greet the aliens when they show up in Gardenia?
What's the protocol?
First. All right, daily news at yahoo.com studied newly revealed Mars glacier could support human exploration. Yeah, Mars is slowly revealing its secrets, and a new study of its terrain done 170 million miles away here on Earth has unveiled an anomalous glacier on a flat plain akin to those found in Antarctica, and it could someday support humans. Yeah, cool. Also, really, I guess this is kind of old the way I'm doing in this order, but the AP had this headline. Fun story, 60 years since first American in space. Tourists lining up. 60 years after Alan Shepard became the first American in space, everyday people are on the verge of following in his cosmic footsteps. So this talks about Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, and Elon Musk's SpaceX. Why do I keep saying SpaceX? The three big players in private space exploration. Now, years later. Now to a fun, random, really random, I guess another fish story, another big fish story. How it was this big. GoodNewsNetwork.org, 79-year-old diver and this fish have been BFFs.
Aww.
For nearly 30 years, he nursed her back to health. What? Yeah, and this is crazy. Look at the picture. Look at the picture of that funky looking thing. The fish is pretty cool looking too. In fishing lore, tall tales abound, whether it's the one that got away or the one that jumped right into the boat. Pretty much every story involves a fisherman catching a fish, not the other way around, but in a plot line straight out of Disney. An adorable aquatic denizen of Japan's Tateyama Bay has captured one man's heart in a friendship that's lasted close to 3 decades. Yoriko, an Asian sheep's head wrasse, Kobudai, in Japanese, first met scuba diver Hiroyuki Arakawa nearly 30 years ago when he was supervising the construction of an underwater Shinto temple gate 56 feet beneath the surface of the bay, because the Japanese do that kind of thing, underwater Shinto temple gate. Can we get that story? Arakawa started diving at 18, now 79. He still loves his sojourns into the deep water. His long-standing kinship with Yoriko is certainly one of the highlights. Quote, I'd say we understand each other, Arakawa said in an interview for Great Big Story. Not that we talk to each other. I kissed her once. I'm the only person she'll let do it. So you think. Over time, the fish with an almost human-looking face, when you look really close, you'll think she looks like someone you know, Arakawa jokes. And her human companion became UWBF's BFFs, underwater best friends forever. Yeah, and on one dive, he noticed her mouth was injured, and still she came to greet him. So he spent the next 10 days hand feeding her meat from crabs he hammered open for her because she couldn't eat. That's crazy. So she bounced back from her injuries, and they seem to grow an even stronger bond. That is a crazy looking fish. Crazy, crazy looking fish. Sheep's head wrasse. Beautiful, beautiful, amazing story. Studyfinds.org. This back to the robots and the sex bots. Yeah. Speaking of touching, being touched by a humanoid robot makes people happier, more likely to listen to machines. If the machines touch you, you will be more obedient. Does a reassuring pat on the back bring you comfort during a tough day? A new study finds when it comes to touching, people aren't even picky about who's doing the touching. Researchers in Germany say the touch of a humanoid robot makes people happier and more likely to follow their requests. Instead of being reliant on other humans, researchers are hoping that one day robots may be able to fulfill the role of therapists, personal trainers, and even life coaches. And one day, those robots will be touching you from inside your brain. Too unique. Florida can't have sex robots. Okay. ScienceAlert.com, mystery of deadly last resort antibiotic finally solved after 70 years in the eternal arms race between bacteria and antibiotics. Deadly superbugs with resistance to humanity's most vital life-saving medicines continue to emerge and evolve. We're going to skip that one. Link in the notes if you want to get deep into that. Fun story from goodnewsnetwork.org, how one developer is turning farm storage into soaring yet affordable apartments. Who knows where technology and housing is going, but so much fun, creative stuff happening all around the world, all around the flat earth today. Goodnewsnetwork.org with another phone, and floating dandelion seeds produce a vortex not noticed before by scientists. Who knows? We probe the understanding of the small scale where this application of technology will take us. CNBC.com, Goldman Sachs internal memo unveils new cryptocurrency trading team. Yes, another step up for crypto with recognition from the big bad Goldman Sachs. Also, goodnewsnetwork.org, battery parts can be recycled without crushing or melting, saving valuable raw materials. Yeah, next level recycling. Again, innovating our way out of all the pollution problems. And then back into insanity with this next story, also from Good News Network. Brace yourselves. Becoming a part-time mermaid is a big trend in China. It's as difficult as it is lovely. Is it really any surprise that the world's largest scuba diver training organization is instructing a new generation of free divers in the art and techniques of mermaiding? PADI, by the way, I am a PADI certified PAWI and NAUI, Professional Association of Diving Instructors, or National Association of Underwater Instructors. The aforementioned organization now offers 4 levels of mermaid diving certification, which is essentially free diving, but with a large and sometimes heavy artificial tail that requires a different kind of human locomotion.
They're gonna die.
New kind of synchronized swimming. Well, they're gonna die anyway, but look at this.
It's
Synchronized
pretty. I mean,
swimming as mermaids.
I want to be a mermaid.
How can you
Everybody
argue
wanted
with
to
that?
be a mermaid, except for Ariel. She wanted to be a human.
All right. Technological advancement. Also good news. Network, world's first laundry detergent made from industrial carbon emissions, launched by Unilever.
What?
Yeah, even in corporate technology, this is just going to be the expectation now. Vice.com. We're going to be smoking weeds with lasers. Scientists create record-breaking laser with mind-blowing power, and that mind-blowing power is not smoking weed. The laser pulse's power is comparable to focusing all the sunlight reaching Earth to a spot of 10 microns, the size of a speck of dust. Some scientific achievements are large and flashy, like imposing robots, while others are incredibly small, fast, and nearly invisible. And as a record-breaking laser pulse reported by scientists in a new study shows, even these tiny-sized advances can pack a ton of power. Yep, that's what we're doing. All right, DNYUZ.com. Meet the other social influencers of the animal kingdom. Julia, her friends and family agreed had style when out of the blue, the 18-year-old chimpanzee began inserting long, stiff blades of grass into one or both ears and then went about her day with her new statement accessories clearly visible to the world. The other chimpanzees and the Chimpanzee wildlife at the Chimpanzee Wildlife Sanctuary in Zambia were dazzled.
Gotta show off them
All right,
early.
just a couple minutes here. We got to wrap up here. CNBC. I don't know. I guess I had to put this in good news for today. Federal grand jury charges 4 former Minneapolis cops with violating George Floyd's civil rights. Yep, more fallout from George Floyd and the Chauvin case. So we'll see. Again, the de-escalation. Well, this in and of itself, punishment. That it had to happen this way, not good news. But good news for the further de-escalation of the police state. Finally, from goodnewsnetwork.org, researchers, not finally, we still got good news in history. Researchers create CRISPR on-off switch to control inherited genetic problems without changing DNA. Scientists have figured out how to modify the unrivaled gene editing tool CRISPR to extend its reach to the epigenome, which controls how genes are switched on or off. Yep, that's what we're doing now, hacking humanity. And now, with just a couple minutes left, Joey, do we have a winner in today's comment contest?
I think so. I'm not, I don't even have the list in front of me. Is Mike Freeman in that? He's in the producers club already. But this one wins. This one wins, and I think it's going to be a two-parter. First Domino is offering her.
All right, it's Mike Freeman comment contest. Send in at Anthony Ralston. Watch and wait to see if he gets probed. Then take a vote on how to proceed. First domino, yeah. We will push Anthony into the ship and see what happens. Well, first domino is in if Mike Freeman isn't. Congratulations, you're the winner of our comment contest today. Any final thoughts, GI Mary Jane?
Final thoughts, you guys. You keep killing it on these comment contests. Get your friends in here. I mean, tell your homies and your coworkers, your online FBI agent to join us. We need some new producers club members.
All right, good final thought, Joey. And with that, Jim, take us home with some promos.
What's going on? Great show, guys. All kinds of random crazy crap. I like the alien parts. That was fun. Join us, t.me/Adam vs. Man. If there was any stories that he didn't get deep enough into that you were really interested in, you can find the link for it there, as always, in the show. That's the public channel that everybody's welcome to. Other than that, the winner of the contest wins access to the Private Producers Club, which can also just be purchased through Adam vs. the Man Patreon link. $1, $5, $10, and $50 a month is our different levels to support the show. $10 a month gets you access to the Private Producers Club, which will then get you 15% off and free shipping on everything in the store. So take advantage of that. Also, a link for Cigar Federation, where you can get exotically flavored cigars, including a CBD infused one. You can use promo code Adam10 to get 10% off your order there. So definitely take advantage of that. Garden of Freedom is putting new content up every day. So check out Instagram at the Garden of Freedom and go through the pictures and videos, make yourself smile, because they're all beautiful and wonderful and happy and positive, and it's great. So check it out. Instagram at the Garden of Freedom. The Crypto 6, these are the QR codes. You can donate cryptocurrencies to those guys, the Bitcoin Church that got raided, help them with legal fees and everything they need got going on. And the guest today was the son of the person who runs this website that we love, GoGreenEnergyOnline.com, the best website for do-it-yourselfers that want to get themselves self-sustaining and off-grid with solar power, micro wind power, and zero energy homes. Visit GoGreenEnergyOnline.com.
And with that, we go to goodnewsnetwork.org for this day in history. And there's a lot of good news for today in history, but two things that stand out. It was on this day in 1945, General Alfred Jodl, assistant to Hitler's successor, signed Germany's unconditional surrender at Reims, France. ending the Nazi aggression in World War II. End of a war. Good news. And technology, good news from this day in 1952. That recently, the concept of the integrated circuit, the basis for all modern computers, was first published by Jeffrey W.A. Doomer. And with that, mwah, peace and love, y'all. Choose happiness and be excellent to each other.